Speaking of somebody who lost everything, lately Dame Dash has been crashing out pretty much. How well do you know him?
I know Dame, but Dave really dealt with Dame. The couple of times me and Dame got together, it wasn't, it wasn't too much of a conversation, I have a great deal of respect for Dame is a legend in the game. I have a great deal of respect of his accomplishments and what he did with Rockefeller and Jay-Z and Rockaware. And just the production he did with Dipset. Dame is responsible for a lot of amazing things in hip hop. Once again, I think his ego gets the best.
Yeah.
No.
Once again.
Yeah.
And I, what I'm saying, sometimes the one thing about your ego doesn't allow you to zip this up when it's time. Sometimes you and I had to learn this. And so when I'm speaking for me, I had to learn this. That the things that you want, you can't say everything you want to say. Yes, you have the freedom to say it, but sometimes it's best not to. And you got to be able, and those decisions can make or break somebody.
Yeah, that's
the time to say certain things, the place to say certain things. You have to know when to say things and when not to. If something is on, because it starts up here in the mind, and then it has to come out of this. He can't stop what's the head coming out of this.
That's true.
Yeah, he cannot do it.
Yeah.
And that's what, to me, that's what's getting him that, and he has to be careful because you don't want to ruin your legacy. It's about legacies.
Is it too late though?
You don't want people to not like you because you're a loudmouth or you're always negative or you're always in some shit with somebody or always something about the past. Look, my past isn't the greatest. I've made some small mistakes and real big ones. But it's all right though because I'm human and I take responsibility for I did it and I'm a better person to not make those mistakes again. And I could help somebody by admitting that. Listen, let me tell you something. I've done so much and had so you would never know it. Like I've done so much and had so much money and so many material things, but I don't talk about it. Because at the end of the day, it's not doing anybody good me bragging about what I had or bragging about what I did. Yes, it's good to my accomplishments, and it's good for me, even for me to understand my accomplishments. I get it, but there's a way to articulate it where you're not coming off as pompous or braggadocious or big mouth or arrogant. Like there's just a way because people out here aren't doing good. I know it seems like that way with social media, but the reality is people aren't. And the way you communicate to them, you have to, there's a way to communicate where you're not, throwing stuff in their face. And I think Dame just hasn't found that way of communication. I think Dame thinks, when he has conversations with people, he thinks that he's a CEO of every conversation.
He does.
Like you're not like me and you can, like we're here just going to lunch having a conversation, and you think you're a CEO. It's not that. You have to put yourself at the level, shoulder to shoulder with everybody. And even if you think, and I've been doing this lately, even if I might know some more than somebody else, I'm not going to make them feel any less of a person because you understand what I'm saying? And that's not me dumbing myself down. I just know how to communicate where I don't make people feel uncomfortable like I'm somebody that's trying to make them like that's somebody bigger than them. And we have a problem with that in the industry and in the community. And I look at and I don't want to jump it, but I look at these guys and the Nicki and Cardi beef and Dame and everybody, and I just look at it and it's like they get piped up from clicks and comments. A lot of this stuff wouldn't even be happening if it wasn't for the social media and the fans and comments, because a lot of people take that shit to heart, and take those to heart and they like instigate it. He's up. It's like back in the day when you're outside for recess and then you don't want to fight, but then you got the whole recess trying to egg you onto it, and that's what's going on now. And these are grown men and women falling for it. So it really is crazy right now.
Okay, so do you think that sometimes when we fall from that high, part of that is because we're not taking accountability for our actions too. Because I feel like, I see a lot of folks out there that really they really struggle with like just owning up to their own stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and me, it took me a long time. I had an 11-year span between relationships because I needed to do work on myself and I needed to take accountability for my actions, and really own up to my stuff before I could find somebody that was my fit. Right. So like, and that's at a much smaller scale, but I feel like, folks that kind of have that downfall, that's one of the things that I really kind of jumps out at me is that they really don't take accountability for some of the things that they've, kind of mishandled along the way. And people don't want to mess with them then, you know what I mean? Because, yeah.
Listen, you just said a mouthful because it's not just people in the celebrity world, just in general. Like, what people don't realize when you take accountability, okay, first of all, when you don't take accountability, you're always worrying what other people might think, and that's why you don't take accountability. You don't want to see people, you don't want people to see you in a lesser light. If you understand that when you do take accountability, you free yourself from all that anyways.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
When you admit to your own wrong, you don't have to worry about what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
And that's what people mix it up at. And, of course, on a higher scale, when you got the world looking at you and social media looking at you, these people don't never want to be wrong because the fans put them so much on a pedestal, they start believing it. And that is a problem.
Yeah.
That believe it or not, that is a problem. And that to me is the reason why a lot of stuff gets worse than it should been. Yeah. Than it should, because the fans put people on this pedestal that doesn't even exist. Mm-hmm. And instead of them understanding it, okay, that's my fans and they love me, they give them what they think they are.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You could still be loved, but you could still, again, communicate in a way that people could see you as a genuine good person. Now, if you're not that anyways, that's I think that's what people understand. There's an old saying, like, you don't want to meet your idols in person.
That's true.
And you got to understand that's what social media does. It opens up. A lot of times people have gifts, whether it's singing, playing an instrument, acting, whatever it is. Not necessarily they was the greatest at life. So when you're looking at this person, you're admiring their gift, but in your mind, you're thinking that they're also a great person. And believe me, that couldn't be furthest from the truth. A lot of these people out here.